boxing. So much has happened in boxing. I haven't watched the Diego Pacheco fight. I know he's been knocked down, and I know that they're saying that he didn't look good. That he's not really what everybody was cracking up for him to be. And I don't know. I didn't see the fight. I was in Puerto Rico, and I have to check out that fight because I do like Diego Pacheco, but I have to see how he looked. But they say that Sad Joe was actually the opponent, the last name of the opponent that knocked him down, and he won. He won by decision, but I want to actually see the fight before I give my assessment of Diego Pacheco. But yeah, like I was expecting more better news from him, but we'll see what happens. Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. I just got back from Puerto Rico yesterday at 8 o'clock in the morning. Sadly, I left my country, which I consider a country, even though it's an unincorporated territory. Um, Being in Puerto Rico kind of like reiterated a lot of the things that I've studied and learned about Puerto Rico's status as an unincorporated territory and how the United States takes advantage of Puerto Rico. And, when I went there and actually saw with my own eyes the difference in the unequal treatment of Puerto Ricans, the locals, and the tourist areas where you see a lot of gringos and you see the differential treatment and you see that Puerto Ricans work there for the gringos. They actually have to learn English and Spanish, and they're basically they're basically treated like workers and not owners. And I don't want to put my people down, but I feel like there's two Puerto Ricos now. There's the tourist areas in Carolina, which didn't have that much tourist areas when I went there back in 2004. I saw an entitled attitude of the gringos, and I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. I'm just saying that to be truthful. I feel like they gotta respect when they come into Puerto Rico. They have to realize that in spite of us being an unincorporated territory and basically property of the United States, they still have to come with respect. And when I went to the store, and I went to one of the stores, I noticed there's a lot of United States corporation stores in certain touristic areas in Puerto Rico where you see a lot of gringos and you see a lot of people of different nationalities staying in hotels. They're not residents of the place, but it's become a corporate sewer of the United States. And I went to a local store in Puerto Rico, and when I went there to buy souvenirs, I noticed that a gringo went in there and actually started having that entitled attitude and started, they were speaking in English, I speak in Spanish. So, he was like, the person that was working there was a Puerto Rican, a local, trying to give him his receipt back. And the guy had an entitled attitude, and he was like waving her off, like dismissing her, like saying like he didn't want her receipt. So I told him, this is Puerto Rico. You gotta speak Spanish. You're in my country. And I said it in Spanish too. Esto es Puerto Rico. Tú tienes que hablar el idioma mío, español. Respeta mi país y respeta mi cultura. Respect my country and respect my culture. Well, Puerto Rico is an unincorporated territory, so they technically is not a country, but if it was independent, it would be a country. But since Puerto Rico has its own culture, I believe that we could call ourselves a country in spite of us not being technically a country. But I feel that there's two Puerto Ricos. And yes, the majority of Puerto Rico is Puerto Rican, and Puerto Ricans do have business everywhere that they live. Well, in every part of Puerto Rico, I believe. And it's more scarce in touristic areas. You see Puerto Rican businesses there, but you see more American U.S. corporations business in those tourist areas. And that's a monopoly for the United States. So when I went to Puerto Rico, I supported a local hotel, Villa del Sol, in Carolina. I supported a local hotel because I'm going to support my people before I even give money to U.S. corporations in Puerto Rico. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to contribute to the displacement of Puerto Ricans. But yeah, Puerto Ricans are the majority, but it appears like there's two Puerto Ricos. In the tourist areas, they taken over. the United States has put all their corporations and Americanized Puerto Rico in such a way where it's despicable and disgusting because the vibe that these gringos give is not respectful. It's not like Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans are typically humble, respectful, and show a lot of respect and humility. That's something they don't do. And that vibe is disgusting and despicable, and it makes me feel like throwing up when I'm around that kind of vibe, the American vibe, the gringo vibe. I believe Puerto Rico's streets, when it comes to the local Puerto Ricans, you see the unfair inequality on how the locals are treated and how the tourists are treated. The locals, the streets have a lot of potholes, and even though Puerto Ricans have business and restaurants in the real Puerto Rico where the locals are, but their streets are not really fixed by the puppet government of Puerto Rico or the United States government. They don't do anything to help the local Puerto Ricans, but they help the tourist areas like Carolina, which became a tourist area, San Juan. All those areas they get treated with the VIP treatment because that's where the money goes to the United States corporations in those parts of Puerto Rico. But it's not fair. We should own that because we are the people of the island. Let me read the comments. Koki, facts, Tony. Thanks for tuning into my channel. Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. We got to protect our island. Koki says, you're right. 100% right. I totally agree. And it just reiterates everything that I talk about in my music and Mi Patria Linda, The Monumental Truth, Unite the Tribes, Free Puerto Rico. Everything that I talk about in The Prodigy of Abiso Campos. Check out all those albums. That right there, it makes me feel so ignited about what I said in my songs and my music. And you can check out my music on Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, and all major platforms. And it just gives me a feeling of it reinvigorates me. Like it makes me feel more excited about putting out my message in my music, and that's a beautiful thing. And my music is powerful. The message, the singing, the melody, everything. I sing and I rap and I do typical bomba plena and all my music. When I came back from Puerto Rico, I heard my album and I was like, wow, I feel so passionate about what I said, and a lot of things that I said in my music really resonates with a lot of people, and it's been growing. My music has been growing. So I feel like Puerto Rico needs to do a little better as far as the locals, but the laws don't really help the locals. It helps the outsiders, and that's how they try to displace us. But we got Eliseo Molina in the Senate, and there's hope for us. And I see that we still have a lot of resilience in spite of us not being independent. We still have that resilience where we still have business everywhere we go, and we don't allow our face to be ignored. But when you go to these places where there's more tourism, it is very disgusting, and there's an entitlement attitude, and it feels like there's two different Puerto Ricos. And they're trying to make Puerto Rico into a concrete jungle and trying to make it into Hawaii, but that's not going to happen on our watch if we do something about it. But we have to do something about it fast, because if we don't, they're going to displace all of us, and that's the only way that Puerto Rico will be a state, if there's no Puerto Ricans. And I don't think they're going to be able to do that to us, but we need to wake up fast and become a sovereign nation and follow Eliseo Molina. He is the independent Senate of Puerto Rico who was able to be elected through direct vote, paper vote, because the CCE, they removed the Eliseo Molina from the data on purpose because they know he's a threat, and they know that he's challenging all the corrupt politicians, and he's doing whatever he can to make Puerto Rico a sovereign nation. And he is the voice of the people, and he's doing everything to make Puerto Rico an economy of production, not consumerism. He wants to eradicate Act 60. He's protecting the lands. He's not allowing people to build beaches illegally with illegal permits in Puerto Rico. And he wants Puerto Rico to be independent. But he's very open-minded to listen to everybody's point of views. And yes, in my music, it talks about all those things. And also I got R&B, hip-hop, and I talk about all these things. Check out my music on all major platforms. Yeah, I've been following the party for over 2 decades. Let me read the comments over here. Coqui, we got to protect our island. Those facts, facts. Jake Paul got to get out of Puerto Rico. He doesn't pay taxes here. That's right, Coqui. That's right. I don't like him. I don't like him. Coqui, Jake Paul got, okay, I read that. Hannibal, 54,689. Same with Hawaii. Yeah, yeah, Hawaii is totally gentrified. Puerto Rico, at least, most people are Puerto Rican, even though it looks like they're trying to turn it into Hawaii. Yeah, they got all the tourist areas. That's what all the money is, Yunque and all that. And it's not fair. We should own that. We got to wake up fast. Coqui, FJ, I met Molina. Yeah, I actually spoke to him on the phone before he became popular. And yeah, I actually know of him and I actually connected people with him. So when they went to Puerto Rico, they could actually collaborate with him because I have his contact number. He's a great guy, knowledgeable, and he's the future. And then he might be the governor of Puerto Rico 2028. It's very possible. Hopefully. Um, I've been following the party for over 2 decades. You speak facts, Tony Koki. Yeah, yeah, that's all I know how to do. Speak facts and yeah, subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. So I showed you like behind the scenes footage of Loisa Piñones. That's the real Puerto Rico for me. And the food was great. Iguana's bar was really, really, really tasty. The food was good. The pastelillo, the alcapurria. Um, and also El Kyoko El Boricua was the best as well. The best food I tried is the Loisa Piñones, Puerto Rico. The real Puerto Rico. And I showed you the struggle and the resilience of our people. If you check out the videos of my behind the scenes, subscribe to my channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Let me get back into boxing. I just wanted to vent that, get that off my chest because I just came back from Puerto Rico. But yeah, Teofimo Lopez is fighting Shakur Stevenson on the same day that Xander Zayas is fighting Baraou. Baraou is fighting also on January 31st, 2026, and so is Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, January 31st of 2026. So the difference is the fight with Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson is taking place in New York, Madison Square Garden, if I'm not mistaken. And the main event is between Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson is going to take place at 10:30. They're going to walk in the ring. That's what I researched. And Xander Zayas versus Baraou, that main event, I think they're going to walk in the ring at 8 o'clock at night. And Puerto Rico is an hour ahead of the United States. Florida Eastern time is an hour ahead. So when it's 7 o'clock over here in Florida or New York, it's going to be 8 o'clock in Puerto Rico. So make sure you tune into the fight at 7 o'clock Eastern time, New York and Florida, so you don't miss the fight, which is going to start at 8 o'clock in Puerto Rico. And I forgot what Coliseum, what stadium they're going to fight in. But that's going to be an interesting fight. And I don't know, who do you think which fight do you think is better? Which fight you think is more important? The Baraou fight versus Zayas, which Baraou is the WBA champion. He was updated to full champion after Crawford vacated the belt to fight Canelo. And Xander Zayas is the IBF, if I'm not mistaken, the IBF champion. No. He's the WBO champion. So they're going to unify the WBO and the WBA. So that's an important fight. Baraou's no easy fight for anyone. You saw how he made the Cuban Taylors. They just look. He actually beat him, and he actually knocked him down, I think, in the last round to add the cherry on top of the cake. So we know that that's a dangerous fight for Xander Zayas, but I believe that Xander Zayas has the skills to pay the bills, and he has the versatility, the angles, the footwork. He has everything. So I believe that Xander Zayas is actually is going to dominate. But, when you look at the way Baraou fights, I believe he's going to be tough in the beginning. He's going to be tough maybe from the beginning to the middle. And fights like this are very, very hardcore in my eyes. I look at this fight like a fight that it's a fan friendly fight because like he didn't have to fight him. Xander Zayas didn't have to fight Baraou, but he chose to fight him because he wants to fight the best possible opponents since he couldn't get the fights that he really would want. That Oscar De La Hoya's boy. You know, I don't know. Do you think that do you think he's ready for the fighters like Virgil Ortiz? Do you think he's ready for Virgil Ortiz? I think he's ready for Virgil Ortiz. I think Xander Zayas will school Virgil Ortiz. A lot of people they give him too much credit. Okay, he knocked out Erickson Lubin, but Erickson Lubin is known to not have a chin. But Erickson Lubin has some skills, but I think they stopped the fight a little bit too prematurely, if you ask me. But he did his thing, Virgil Ortiz. But I think that Virgil Ortiz didn't beat Jesus Ramos. I think Jesus Ramos actually beat Virgil Ortiz, but they gave the fight to Erickson Lubin. So, we got to see Virgil Ortiz in the ring with somebody more credible. I think that no, I don't know. I just feel that Virgil Ortiz, if he fights, what's that guy? The one that I'm trying to remember his name. The one that took that actually fought that guy Usima. The guy that fought Usima. I know his name. I just don't remember right now. I got like a brain freeze. But yeah. Yeah, I think that Xander Zayas, there's a lot of competition in the 154 weight class division, and it's not an easy division to fight in. And the one that's gonna win is the one right now that's gonna be the most dominant right now is the one that just moved up in 154 and beat Usima Lima. But Usima Lima wasn't a credible fighter to beat, to actually prove anything at that weight class. But I believe that he's going to be the one that takes over the division. But I believe if I see a little bit more in a couple of fights with Xander Zayas, he's only going to get better. And Xander Zayas will give anybody a run for their money. And I don't think that he's going to get bulldozered by anybody if he fights the guy that knocked out Usima Lima. Can't believe I remember the guy Usima Lima's name, but I'm not remembering the name of the fighter that beat him, which I should know. Somebody help me in the comments. Come on, help me in the comments. Yeah, subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Subscribe to that channel. Look what all right, let me show you what this guy said. Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson said that Teofimo Lopez is crazy. You heard what he said. You gotta hear what he said. You gotta hear what he said. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Well, I can't find it. I'm not gonna go crazy looking for it. But anyway, yeah. So that's what I got right now. Yes. Who do you guys think has a more important fight? Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez, or Xander Zayas versus Baraou from Africa? Really, he lives in Germany, but he's from Africa. Who do you guys think is the most important fight? I think they're both important, both fights. As what I heard in the interview right now, I just heard another interview from Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson said, they asked him, what do you plan to do when you win the 140-pound weight division? You plan to defend it? He basically, he started stuttering. He started having second thoughts, and then he said, I'm really not a 140-pounder. I'm a 135-pounder. But it didn't make sense for me to make Teofimo Lopez come down in weight to fight me because I'm a 135-pounder. So I went up to his weight to fight him. But he's basically saying that he's not a 140-pound fighter. So this is what I said. He said that he was going to vacate it. He did say that he was going to that he did say in a few interviews that he was going to vacate the 140-pound weight class belt that he takes from Teofimo Lopez so he could give Keyshawn Davis an opportunity to fight for that belt. That's what he said. He said it a while ago, and I'm sticking to my story. And you heard it over here first on Tony Also Knows Boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Subscribe to that channel. Tony Also Knows Boxing. Yes. So I believe both fights are important. What do you guys think in the comments? Do you think that Xander Zayas has a tougher test with Baraou? Or do you think that Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson has a tougher test? I think, this is what I think. This is my assessment. I think the tougher fight is Baraou versus Xander Zayas, because Baraou, he's dangerous. Like the guy comes forward, he's relentless, he's strong, and I'm not saying that he'll beat Xander Zayas, but it's a dangerous fight, man. In boxing, anything can happen. I think Xander Zayas is gonna pull it off. I don't know how dominant he's gonna be. Yeah, facts, Koki, facts. Koki, FJ, I think Shakur will give Teo a complete headache. Facts. I totally agree. I totally agree with you, Koki. Subscribe to that channel. Tony Also Knows Boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Koki, FJ says, Zayas fighting a hungry guy. Yeah, I agree. I think the guy that Xander Zayas is fighting is a really tough champion. Now he's a champion now, WBA. So, and Xander Zayas is WBO. So I believe that there's a lot of pressure on Xander Zayas, but I feel like pressure creates diamonds, and I believe that Xander Zayas is ready for this. But Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson, I just see Shakur Stevenson levels above Teofimo Lopez. Yeah, Teofimo Lopez, they give him too much credit. Like the hardcore boxing fans, they say that that he's on another level. That that he has a lot of boxing skills. That he has more boxing skills than Shakur Stevenson. I think people like that are delusional. And how could you even give credit to Teofimo Lopez as a boxer that has more athleticism than Shakur Stevenson when he couldn't even beat Kambosos? George Kambosos, a limited fighter that beat the crap out of Teofimo Lopez. Subscribe to that channel. Tony Also Knows Boxing. I tell the truth. How the hell are you going to say that Teofimo Lopez has more skills than Shakur Stevenson when he couldn't even beat George Kambosos, man? Man, come on. Get out of here with that bull crap. Get out of here with that. Subscribe to the channel. Tony Also Knows Boxing. I feel that he's not at that level. Teofimo Lopez, on paper, it looks good that he beat Josh Taylor, but Josh Taylor was inactive for 18 months, so he wasn't the best Josh Taylor at all. On paper, it looks good, and the best victory that Teofimo Lopez has is against Lomachenko, and that's something that he's still living off. But he only looked good in his last fight with Barbosa, because Barbosa's so slow and so lethargic, and his punches are so telegraphic that he'll make anybody look like a speedster and a great defensive fighter. But he did get hit against Barbosa. So I don't want to give Teofimo Lopez that much credit. Yes, he's skillful, but he's really crazy and delusional. And Shakur Stevenson said that those are the guys you got to watch out for, the crazy ones like him, because they really want it. But he said that there's something really wrong with Teofimo Lopez. That's what Shakur Stevenson said. And I agree with him. I think there's something a little crazy about him. He's not a dumb guy, but he's not the smartest guy. Teofimo Lopez, that is. And I know a lot of Teofimo Lopez people over here be hating on what I say, because I speak the facts and I don't jump on the bandwagon like Punch Drunk does. Subscribe to the channel. Tony Also Knows Boxing. But I believe that Xander Zayas has the tougher fight against Baraou than Shakur Stevenson against Teofimo Lopez. But it's a very intriguing matchup, Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson. But I want Shakur Stevenson to school Teofimo Lopez, because all these boxing fanboys of Teofimo Lopez are jumping on the bandwagon of Teofimo Lopez and giving him too much credit, more than he deserves. I mean, come on, man. They're delusional. Teofimo Lopez fans are delusional. If they try to deny that Subriel Matias was avoided twice by Teofimo Lopez, they are freaking delusional and stupid. to believe that, because you know for a fact that Teofimo Lopez is scared of that kind of style, that relentless style that Subriel Matias has. And I think Subriel Matias' mental game is way sharper than Teofimo Lopez. I don't care how much skills Teofimo Lopez has. If he couldn't beat George Kambosos, he's not going to beat Subriel Matias. I said it over here first. Tony also knows boxing. Subscribe to that channel. I said it. I keep it real. I don't hold back. This is no holds barred, truthful information. Subscribe to my channel. Tony also knows boxing. Subscribe to the channel. And Puerto Rico Libre. Yes, Puerto Rico Libre. Check out my music on all major platforms. Mi Patria Linda. Check that out, and check out Unite the Tribes, and check out The Prodigy of Abiso Campos, the full album, and check out The Monumental Truth, that album, and check out Unite the Tribes and Free Puerto Rico, and check out, my new album, Mi Patria Linda, with Bomba en Plena, and I got 2 rap songs out of 10 songs. It's 8 Bomba Plena, singing with my heart and soul, poetic, truthful, revolutionary lyrics, and 2 singing and rapping songs. I actually have 3 singing and rapping songs, but yeah, check it out on all major platforms. Tony also, subscribe to my channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Peace. I gave you the facts about Puerto Rico too. You'll hear it. I got pictures that I did, professional pictures that I did, that I'm networking with Juan Photography in Puerto Rico. I'm actually, I did some professional photos in San Juan, and with the black and white flag. Be on the lookout for that, and I'm gonna post it on my Spotify, so to do the background for my music. Check that out, man. I'm networking, and my music is growing. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows. Bing.